Whatever time you're watching this broadcast, I'm so glad you decided to join me today. It is time now for our 9 for 9 with me, Pastor Karzadine. Come on in, let's get started. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Pastor Karzadine of Rhema Christian Fellowship Ministry here in beautiful Savannah, Georgia. And for those of you who are joining us this morning, we just want to talk about this thing right here. Learn your lines, stay in your place. You know, we've been talking about the word focus, keeping that focal point, keeping that viewpoint, keeping our eyes, our minds, and our thoughts set on specific things, keeping our focus, mostly keeping our focus on our purpose. And as we continue to talk about focus, there are so many aspects in our lives that focus plays a part in. Learn your lines, stay in your place. Many, many years ago, I walked into the United House of Prayer for All People over on Ogeechee Road here in Savannah, Georgia. And I looked up at the tall ceiling, and up there was this sign that said, learn your lines, stay in your place. And I will tell you, that's probably been 25 plus years ago, but that thing stuck with me. And I will tell you, I took that nugget and I used it throughout my life. Always? Probably not. Many times? Yes. Many times when there were situations where I didn't know what to do here or what to do there, I had to understand, especially during jobs and job changes, roles in my life, I had to make sure that I knew what it was I was supposed to do, what I was assigned to do, what were my duties and responsibilities, and I had to stay in my place, or as many of us say, stay in your lane. If we think about it, we think about knowing your lines, staying in your lane, learn your lines, stay in your place. We can think about a skit or a play because our lives are a role that plays out. In our lives, we serve a role. We are the part that we play is a role in our lives and in the lives of others. There was a man by the name of John, and they knew him as John the Baptist. We know him. And during the time of Christ, John the Baptist was a forerunner. And I'm not going to go deep with John this morning. You're going to have to join me Sunday morning at 9:45 to get just a little more of this. But John had a specific mission. I just want you to know that John had a specific mission in his life. He had a specific role in his life and in the life of Christ. His role was played out, and if I might say, probably almost to perfection. It sufficed. It caused what God's will was taken care of. His role played out, and what is your role? So you understand that John's role was God's will. And so I have to tell you this morning that your role in this life has to be lined up with God's will. What is your role? You have to learn your lines or your part. If there's a play going on and this is a skit or this is a production, you have to know your lines. Because if you go off track, you get the wrong lines going, you have messed up the whole meaning of the play. So know your lines, learn your lines, and stay in your place. You can't run over here and do my part and do your part. Do you get it? Learn your lines. Know what your role is in the skit. Know what your role is in this thing of life that's playing out for us. John had to learn his lines, stay in his place. He wasn't Christ. He didn't claim to be Christ. People tried to call him Christ, but because he knew his role, he knew his lines, he stayed in his place, and he did what it took for that production to be played out just the way it was supposed to be. As far as life is concerned, there are so many aspects of our life and so many different roles that we might have to play. However, if we keep our focus on our purpose, what is the purpose of my role? What is the purpose of what I'm doing? Why am I focusing on this or not focusing on that? That's why we have to know our lines. Now, this morning I said to learn your lines, stay in your place. But once you learn them and you know how to move to the left, you know how to move to the right, you know when to go forward and when to just stop sometimes, look and listen. Y'all know that's the teacher in me coming out. I have to share these scriptures with you because I want you to go read them. In the book of John, the first chapter, the 19th through the 21st verses, it says, and this is the testimony of John, when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, who are you? He confessed and did not deny, but confessed. This was his confession. They said, who are you? He said, I am not the Christ. You see, he knew that they were coming with their own agenda. And many times there are agendas coming to try to throw you off. Here we go. Your game. Oh, some of you got to go back and listen to the sessions before this. Keep your head in the game, we told you. But listen, when they came, who are you? He confessed and did not deny. But this is what he confessed. I am not the Christ. Sometimes you have to tell people, I am not that person. That is not the role I'm playing. Because many times people will assign roles to us. Learn your lines so you can stay in your place. Don't you let anyone or anything cause you to go into somebody else's place, somebody else's lane, try to live their life. Don't try to live their life. That's not your role. Learn what your role is in this life. Learn your part. Learn your lines. Make sure that you're in tune and connected with how this thing is supposed to play out. I'm telling you, you got to know what the end goal is. He said, I am not the Christ. And that 21st verse says, and they asked him, what then? You see, once you declare what you're not, folks are going to want to know, well, then what are you? Who are you? Where did you come from? Why are you here? And he said, what? They said, what then? Are you Elijah? They start trying to assign different personalities or characters to you. People will try to define your character, your characteristics, and may not know a thing about you. They may have a or unction of who you are. They might have been watching you to see which way you're going. They might know a little something that's out there in the wind. But let me tell you, they cannot define you. So you have to know your lines. Learn your lines and stay in your place. You have to. Because people will cause you sometimes to not really know who you are and what it is you're supposed to be doing. Are you Elijah? He said, I am not. Are you the prophet? And he answered no. Now I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to go to the book of John and read that first chapter completely for yourselves. We're going to go more into that during our Sunday morning session. But we want you to know that we want you to go in and delve into that thing because you need to understand. If you're going through that thing where you're not sure of what your place is, what your lines are, if you're not sure, you need to learn. You need to take some time so that with like John, you can answer confidently when they ask, who are you? You know, you're setting yourself up for a job interview. I know I keep going there, but that's the times we're in now. You're setting yourself up to be in a relationship. You need to know who you are so that you are clearly defined to whomever that relationship was with. You are clearly defined to whomever is willing to employ you. You are clearly defined to whomever you want to start that business with. You've got to learn your lines, stay in your place, know your part, and make sure that your role is played out to the fullest. Give 100%, 110, 120. Just keep giving in your place. Because you've learned your place, you can operate fully in what it is you're supposed to do. And that's going to be God's will. Well, that's our time now. 9 for 9 and just a smidgen maybe of overtime. But listen, today I want you to make sure that you're learning your lines and staying in your place. And one of the ways to help you do that is to make sure you flush out, push out anything that's negative, anything that doesn't jive with this what? Cup of what we're going to have right now. We're going to have ourselves our cup of positivity. God bless you. See you next time.